Hola. Hello. Hello, hello, 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 hello. How we doing? Let's pull up this chat. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, almost. Whew. Almost pressed the wrong button. What's a good poll question for today? Start a poll. Let's go. Let's go classic. Let's go classic. Poetan. Does Chimaev move up and beat Poetan? Then we do this. Then we click this. Then we pin the message. And boom. Boom. We hit that. We hit that. We got it all set up. We are the goats at setting this up now. We are the goats. We're the goats. Go to pull in 52 views video. Bro, but you're just basing that off of the one day though. You're basing that off of one day. Okay, sometimes things take more than that. Okay? Sometimes things take longer than that. Right? Sometimes you got to switch it up. Same thing happened with the one before my most recent one, right? And then all of a sudden, what? Last night? It got like 1K views, so hate on me now? You're just hating. You're a hater. Your definition of a hater, okay? Not cool. Not cool. I would never clown you, bro. It's been 6 days? Yeah, but that's predictions though. That's prediction. That's the Rothschilds. That's the Rothschilds trying to hold me back. That's freaking Big Govy trying to hold me back, dude. Come on now. I'm surprised you don't know about Big Govy holding me back and suppressing me, because at the end of the day, I'm pretty unstoppable at the end of the day, you know? So, but we got it locked in. We got it locked in. We found your worst breakdowns ever. You're just salty because you get all yours wrong. You're salty because you don't know who is Ilya really outboxed? Yeah, you take a quote from me. You take a quote from me, and you act like yeah. Okay, no. Who is really Ilya outboxed? This was before the Volk fight. This was before, or even no. Even if it was before the Max fight, who has Ilya outboxed? Who is he outboxed? Josh Emmett. I don't really know Josh Emmett for being a technical boxer. I don't think he's ever really outboxed anybody outside of Oliveira. He outboxed Oliveira, outboxed Josh Emmett. That's about it. He didn't outbox Volk. He just landed the shot he needed to land. He didn't outbox Max. He just landed the shot he needed to land. You watched the breakdown? That was genuinely what your pick was based on, though. But my point still stands, and it stands correct. Up until that Max fight, even after that Max fight, who has Ilya outboxed? He's not the best boxer. He hasn't outboxed anybody. That's the truth. That is the reality of the scenario, the reality of the situation. He hasn't outboxed anybody. Who has Yuri really beat? That was going into the Jamal Hill fight. And yet again, at that time, who did Yuri beat? He outboxed Max. What? How did he outbox Max? He was getting pieced up until like the third round. Max was worried about the takedowns. Ilya had to take down Max to get him thinking about the takedowns. And even then, he just got clipped. He lost one boxing exchange. He lost one boxing exchange the entire fight. And you think he outboxed him? I mean, I hate to tell you, but it's just like you don't know what you're talking about, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. He won one boxing exchange. That's it. And that's all he needs to do is win one boxing exchange and he wins. You know? Bro, rewatch the fight. Max was only having success because of kicks. Okay, buddy. Sure. Sure, bro. Sure, bro. Outlanded in every single round except for dude, Max outlanded significant strikes in the first round and the second round. Only didn't outstrike him in the third round because that's when he got finished. So, let's let's stop it. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. Outlanded doesn't mean outstruck. Whoa. Pause for a second and reread what you said. Outlanded, meaning someone landed more than the other person, does not mean the same as outstruck. I think you lost here. I think you know you're cooked. I think you're grasping at straws here. You're grasping at straws. Bro, rewatch the Max fight. Max was only having success because of the kicks. No, not really. Not at all. He was having more success with the boxing than Ilya until that final exchange. Ilya had the more meaningful strikes. What are you talking about? More meaningful strikes? He was getting kind of chewed apart until the takedown in the first round. Second round, Max was just kind of beating him up. You know, landing the more consistent strikes. More meaningful strikes means what? Power? You're talking about meaningful strikes meaning power? Okay, maybe Ilya lands more power punches than Max. Still got outboxed. Bro, you realize you're cooked because you're contradicting yourself. Ages ago, you said significant strikes don't mean anything because it means anything, not a jab. Yeah, in certain contexts, significant strikes don't mean that much. Yeah, that is true. But in this context, turns out it does. When you watch the fight, Max was piecing him up in the boxing. You've had no offense here. You're all defense. You're saying, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. You're not saying, here's why I'm right, here's why I'm right, here's why I'm right. You're just going, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You have no offense. You're all defense right now. You're playing defense. Because you got nothing. You got no offense. You got no, well, Ilya did this, Ilya did that. You got nothing. What's up, John Dong? What is up, John Dong? What is up, John Donga? Donga. John Donga. What is up, John Donga? Like, Ilya's just good at landing, like, one exchange. Ilya won every round. Check the scorecards. Oh my gosh. First off, he won the first round based on a takedown, and he only won the second round based off judges' corruption. What can I say? Judges always have it right. Tai Tuivasa beat Rosenstrike according to one judge. Doesn't mean that's the truth. Like what? Rewatch the fight for yourself. I don't need to refer to judges for fights. Because so you're cooked? How? You think judges are right and no matter what happens in a fight, they're 100% right? You think that? You think, okay, so John Jones clearly beat Reyes because of the judges. Can't go back to the judges and be like, well, they scored it. They scored it that way, so that means it's right. It's like, well, no. And regardless of whether or not he won the round, it's not about winning the round. It's about boxing. Did I ever say Ilya's not a more complete fighter than Max? I never said that. I said Max is a better boxer. He outboxed Ilya. Volk outboxed Ilya. Like, I've yet to be stand corrected. Well, he won the round in a mixed martial art fight. Well, I'm talking about boxing. talking about boxing within the fight. I'm talking about who's the better boxer. Who is Ilya outboxed? He's not that technical of a boxer. You know, he's good. He's good. He's good for MMA, and he's good for those long combinations, clipping guys. It is what it is. But to say that Ilya is outboxing Max, Ilya's outboxing Volk is just, I mean, you're just living in delusional land. He's has, you know, some decent moments, but out of all, if you were to separate every single boxing exchange and who won every single boxing exchange, and then come to the conclusion who won the total amount of boxing exchanges, you would come to the conclusion Max won. Volk won more. Max won more. Only guy Ilya was consistently outboxing is Oliveira and Josh Emmett and some of the other guys he beat on the way up. Didn't outbox Yusuf Zalal. Didn't, no, he outboxed, who's that handsome, weird, lanky dude? I forget his name. Dag Magnus, what's up? Scrunchy. What is up, brother? Dude. Isn't it crazy how Ilya... Doesn't this whole Ilya thing seem a little bit weird to you guys? Dude, Ilya's kind of... He's kind of a fraud, no? Like, this whole divorce thing seems a little bit weird, no? It's like... You know, this guy said he was too big for 145. I doubt that. He also said, you know, all of a sudden, thoughts on Gavin McKenna finish? They should get him on Dana White Contender Series. I support him. I support Gavin for sure. I mean, if you hear what happened, dude, crazy. If you hear what happened, bro was at, first off, why was he at a bar with his mom? But regardless, why is some random drunk dude? Why is some random drunk dude just calling his mom that? That's crazy. You saw MMA Guru Bryce Mitchell together. The world's not ready for that. I did see some of it, but it wasn't my type of video. It wasn't my type of video. It was more just like, you know, it wasn't my type of video. Him on the boat, fishing, talking. Guru's a pretty awkward guy. It wasn't my vibe, to be honest, but that's just me. I'm sure it was good. I don't. I know he probably got bank on it, dude. I know he probably got bank on it. Understandable? Yeah. It's like fishing. It's like... They go into midnight? Holy. Did they get any fish? Dude, that would be like one of my like worst nightmares. Like in a boat with Bryce Mitchell for like 8 hours of the day in Arkansas in the middle of the night. That would not be my ideal that would not be my ideal day. Dude, Bedtime's the biggest casual I've ever seen. No. He's not a casual. He's I think Shea is a bigger cat. I think Shea is the biggest of biggest casuals. And the hardcore of hardcore, gotta be Guru. Hardcore to casual YouTube rankings, Guru hardcore. Bottom you got Shea. You also got the Weasel's pretty casual. Joey's casual. Tracy, Loki casual. Kenny casual. IBG hardcore. The London card is stacked. It's pretty good. I liked it. I like the London card. I wouldn't say it's stacked. But I would say it's a good. I would say it's a good card. It's not crazy stacked. You know, Luke Riley, Michael Oswald, Roman Dolidze, CLD is a banger, right? Iwo Baranowski, Austin Lane, R.I.P. Austin Lane, MVP Sam Patterson. Doesn't make too much sense, but I don't mind Sam Patterson. You know, he's a Yanela Schmuz victim. You know, at 155. But I remember I remember when he finished Danny Barlow. That was like a huge underdog win for Sam Patterson. That was a huge underdog win. That was in the Apex. That was a great win. Mason Jones. Who did Mason Jones? Mason Jones just beat Balaji Oki, right? Coming off a win. Yeah, he beat Balaji Oki. Jeremy Stevens when Jeremy Stevens came back. Axel Sola. Axel Sola. Reese McKee. I feel like that was a pretty competitive fight at some points. Nathaniel Wood, Lucien Keita. I picked Nathaniel Wood to beat. Everybody was mad at that Jose Delgado decision. I wasn't. Antonio Tricoli. I don't know why Antonio Tricoli's still in the UFC. Mick Parkin, Mario Pinto is good. But I don't understand why Antonio Tricoli is in the UFC. I mean, I think they're just trying to burn out his contract and not sign him. He's ass. Shem versus Sawadi. Yeah. What's his name again? It's like Abdul Karim, something like that. Is that a different guy? Since Joey's like Ian Gary so much, how do you think Joey will excuse what Gary said about Shavkat's injury? He'll probably just say he's marketing himself, right? Because that's kind of the only way you can go about it. I mean, no one likes Ian Gary. No one likes Ian Gary. It's pretty telling if you like Ian Gary. Like, this guy's not a nice dude. Had Jeff Neal mugshot on a t-shirt, caused trouble for Neil Magny in his kid's, life. Do you think Chimaev will fight Poatan? Do I think Chimaev will fight Poatan? I mean, you look at the odds for Chimaev becoming a champion at 205. He's a favorite to become the champion at 205. So, yes, I think he moves up. I genuinely think he moves up. But the question is, does he get that title shot right away? And if he doesn't get that title shot right away, does he fight Yuri and beat him and then fight again in the same year, That's kind of the question. Does he fight 2 times in a year if he doesn't get that immediate title shot? But I just think he's going to pull an arm on him and be like, why would I fight if it's not for a title? And he's like, I'm already rich. I already have millions of dollars. I already have Abu Dhabi backing me. Why would I need to do anything? Thanks, Goat is getting cooked by Michael this Saturday. I believe in him. It's really hard to believe in him, but I refuse to doubt. I refuse to doubt Marc-Andre Barriault, okay? The real number 1 Canadian prospect, Marc-Andre Barriault. I refuse to doubt him. I can't. Even if Marc-Andre Barriault is fighting Chimaev, or if he's fighting, Israel Adesanya or Amavov or Fluffy Hernandez, I'm still going to pick Marc-Andre Barriault. Even if I could time travel and I know that Marc-Andre Barriault gets slimed out in round 1, I would still say, dude, it could happen. He could hit him with that boom, that club and overhand hook thing that he does. I believe in him, dude. But realistically, Michael Oleksiejczuk will most likely style on Marc-Andre Barriault. Like, I'm talking about style on him. Like, land 6-punch combos, and Marc-Andre Barriault's still gonna be there, like, Like, I could totally see Marc-Andre Barriault just and then Michael Oleksiejczuk just hitting some anime combos on him, and Marc-Andre Barriault just I could totally see that. Makes sense, Joey. Like him. Both dudes who act like nice dudes, but actually are not nice. Yes. Mark will stand on guard for thee. Dude, hopefully he stands on guard for thee. Dude, could you... I mean, let's be honest. If we ask ourselves the critical question of Who did better against Shara Bullet? You know, who did better against Shara Bullet? I feel they both didn't do great, but it's probably 50-50 on who did better, you know? Or you ask yourself, would Marc-Andre Barriault break his arm against Kevin Holland? Would he get armbarred by Kevin Holland and break his arm? No, dude. He would chin Kevin Holland like D-Rod did. But put him out of there. But he would put him out of there because remember when he caved in Bruno Silva's head? He caved it in. He literally left an indent and they had to take him out on a stretcher. People genuinely forget this guy had Pereira's decisioning Bruno Silva. The good old Barriault is putting an indent in his head. Vinicius fraud check coming soon? I think so. I think that's. I don't know why people are so hyped on Vinicius. Ever since I saw him, I would have once I saw Vinicius debut, I would have never have thought this guy would be like some prospect who's in the rankings at 135. How is Vinicius Oliveira in the rankings at 135? When we got killers, when we got murderers, freaking row at 135. You're telling me Vinicius, the guy who throws like literally just running at dudes with like a hand pumped up like this. You're telling me that guy's in the rankings? Vinicius Oliveira would beat Tabit too? Bro, Tabit would style on Vinicius. You know that, right? Like, he would chin him in round one. Vinicius would get chinned by Peyton Tabit in round one. No doubt about it. I would be willing to bet the money in my account. Not much, but still. I'd be willing to bet the money in my account. Tabit would destroy him. Tabit has no skill. What? Knocked out and styled on Cameron Simon, who isn't that bad. Styled on Cameron Simon. Out-grappled Philip Lima. I think that's his name, right? Philip Lima. Out-wrestled Henry Cejudo. Like, he's beating guys at their own game. You know that, right? You do know that. He's beating guys at their own game. And you think Vinicius Oliveira, who's a power merchant, who's like an overhand barrage, like he's Vinicius Oliveira is just what's his name? Oh my gosh, what is his name? The guy who head kicked Bisping to get rid of his eye. The guy who spinning wheel kicked Luke Rockhold. What's his name? How am I? Vitor Belfort. Dude, Vinicius Oliveira is just a 135 version of Vitor Belfort. Same skill. I'm not a GP. I said Belfort. I said Vitor Belfort before y'all said that. So I got it before y'all. So stop playing with me. He's just a 135 version of Vitor Belfort. Like, he just goes at it. Like, no skill. He's just all pressure. Surprised he's even in the UFC, to be honest. But he's progressively gotten worse over his fights. Dag had to Google. You did not hear me type anything. Like, Vinicius Oliveira has progressively gotten worse every single fight. Like, he's bound to get fraud checked. You know that, right, guys? He is bound to get fraud checked. It's on the rise. And I don't even want to consider it a fraud check because anybody who knows how the game goes, this guy, you should know that he's not a prospect at all. Philip Lima was piecing him up on the feet, quit because of the lights. Not at all. Peyton Tabit they had a competitive fight, and then Peyton Tabit, Philip Lima was desperately shooting takedowns and then getting reversed and out grappled, out jiu-jitsu'd. What are you talking about? I'm not sure if I asked already. What do you think about Kyle Dawkins versus Luque? Dude, Luque has no business being at 180 or fighting Kyle Dawkins. What? We should do, if Luque's at 185, you should do Luque versus Michel Pereira. That's a good fight. Because at least Michel Pereira doesn't have, like, Luque quits in all of his fight. Quit against Buckley, quit against Joel Alvarez. Like, he's who else is a quitter? Derek Lewis is a quitter. Dan Hooker quits a lot. You know, these guys quit. These guys are kind of quitters, you know? In the terms of like, if they can't find the finish or they have to figure out a way to find a finish, they just be like, I'd rather not. I'd rather not find a way to finish. Let me just back down and just keep going. But Vicente Luque is like the worst quitter. Derek Lewis, second worst quitter. Dan Hooker is like a high level quitter, where it's like he chooses before a fight whether he wants to lock in or not. Like against Arman, I think Dan Hooker goes into fights already deciding like whether he wants to win or not. Like in Gamrot the fight, like he went in with the mindset of like, I kind of want to beat this guy. I do want to beat this guy. But then he went into the Arman fight like, I know I'm gonna lose, so I'm just gonna give a good run in the first round and then kind of back up. Philip Lima was not gonna tap it out, and Tabit would wake up because of the second punch. Sure. Philip Lima's good. I don't know where he's been. Or Brendaro Sopaj. You know, where are these guys? There's so many dudes you like don't hear about at all. And you just completely forget about them until they pop up on like a random app prelim. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know this guy was fighting. Unlike Marc-Andre Barriaud, this guy's a marketing machine, Marc-Andre Barriaud. He puts his name out there. People know. When people hear Marc-Andre Barriaud, they think of greatness. They think of achievements. They think of power. They think of putting dudes out on stretchers, you know? You feel bad for Luque? We can call it the Medina mindset. The Medina mindset, yeah. They do got MMs. They do got Medina mindsets. Neal versus Medic. Uros Medic versus Jeff Neal. Is that happening? When did he last fight? He fought Muslim Salikov. Yes. Dude, everybody, but he lost to Puelle Soriano. How do you lose to Puelle Soriano? Isn't that the guy who, I'm not looking. Didn't he lose to Dustin Solesfoots? He did. And Justin Solesfoots is ass. I don't know why he got that Kelvin Gastelum fight. He got caught. Medic got caught. Neal got dominated. Dude, but he beat Muslim Salikov, and that was a Muslim Salikov who was coming off a win over Carlos Leal. Dude, you cannot call me a GP. You guys cannot call me GP when I'm bringing out the GOAT, Carlos Leal. I mean, come on. Barriaud lost to Solesfoots. Yeah, he did. But that was the old version of that was the old Barriaud, okay? Chonko versus Topuria would be insane. Chonko versus Topuria would be insane? No, it would not be insane. That would be an easy Topuria win. You know what would be insane? Chonko versus Ruffy. Dustin Solsvus was huge compared to Soriano. But it doesn't matter. Does that really matter? Maitabek Orablat fought Jack Hermanson, and he was moving up a weight class. Jack Hermanson moving down. So it's like, you know, Chonko is better striking. You think Chonko is better striking than Ruffy? What? Chonko would lose to Bobby Green. Dude, Bobby Green versus Chonko is the fight to make. Bobby Green versus Chonko, but I think Bobby Green, who is he fighting? I think he has a fight book. Or King Green. My bad. King Green. Daniel Zellhuber. That's a banger. Daniel Zellhuber would beat him. Ignacio Bahamondes would beat Chonko. Dude, Chonko out of the Dags, you mean? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Out of the Dagestanis, yeah. Well, Islam, dude, Islam's striking is literally, his kicks are top notch, but his boxing is literally running at Charles Oliveira. Like, people talk about Paddy Pimblett having his chin up, but nobody talks about Islam fighting with his chin up, doing the same thing as Paddy with his chin up. Everyone picks Salikov against Medic. Not me though. Not me. I'm not reading your chat. I'm saying I picked Medic to beat Salikov because The only reason people are picking Salikov is because he was coming off a good win over Carlos Leal, and everybody thought Carlos Leal was really good, and he is good, but they literally told him to hop off steroids. You know, Carlos Leal hopped off steroids for the one fight I bet on him, which was against Salikov. True, Green is goated. Dude, Green would give Chonko a run for his money. I think, dude, Bobby Green versus Chonko would be good. And if Chonko beats Green, then I would do Chonko versus Afiziev. That'd be a banger. F. Zellhuber, he quit his job at Taco Truck to lose to King Green. You think Zellhuber's going to lose to Bobby Green? Really? Zellhuber, Bobby Green is an interesting fight. That's got to be on the Mexico card, right? That's got to be like UFC Mexico. Loner versus Moreno. You think Kavanaugh KO Moreno is washed? Why do you think he's washed? Why do you think Moreno was washed? Because he lost to Tetsuro. Because he had an early stoppage loss to Tetsuro Taira. You think early stoppages should count towards someone being washed or not? I think Loner might shock a lot of people. I've been seeing Instagram comments everywhere talking about some coughing baby versus nuclear bomb. Well, it's like, yes, he got KO'd by Charles Johnson. Yes, that happened. But he was also piecing up Charles Johnson, and that's a hard stylistic match. Long, lanky dude with serious KO power. Moreno's we know how Moreno is. We know how Moreno is. We know how Moreno is, right? You see Moreno, right? Does that all the time for no reason. Goes like all the time. Surprise Mexican. Chonka would put a hurt on Ilya, but you think Chonka loses to Ruffy? You think Chonka would beat Ilya? Maybe I could see how you look at it stylistically, but he would never get the chance to fight Ilya. Chonka could beat Patty, but then again, could he beat? He would beat Patty. Chonka would probably beat Patty, but he'd probably beat Justin Gaethje. At least the latest version of Justin Gaethje. But to say Chonko beats Ilya based off what? This guy still hasn't made his debut, and I'm pretty sure he's getting sued by Dylan Dennis. So it's like, can he really even step in the U.S.? Like, I think Chonko, like people praise Chonko. People praise Chonko for being like, oh, dude, you beat up Dylan Dennis. And it's like, well, now you ruined your chance. Now you ruined so many things because you probably can't step foot in the U.S. without getting served law papers. Like, you think it was a good idea to jump a guy when you have a career to focus on? Like, I mean, I just don't get it. Chunko's overrated. I've seen some people say he's top 10. We don't know yet. I know, yeah. Yeah, I know. See, that's the problem with, like, that's the problem with so many fans. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I know this guy's going to become top 15, top 10. This guy's future champion. And it's like, after one fight. The only time when you can say someone could become champion is I think they need a minimum of like 3 or 4 fights in the UFC and against increasingly good competition with different styles too. Or else you just don't know. It's like, yeah, dude, that's the thing. Same with Malcolm Wallmaker. Malcolm Wallmaker beat Chris Matinho. And people are talking about, dude, this guy's champion. This guy is who Sean O'Malley thinks he is. They said the same thing about Payne Tabbett. They're like, dude, this is the better version of Sean O'Malley. Payne Tabbett is. It's like, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know this? He beat Cameron Simon, and you think he's some all of a sudden some new Sean O'Malley? You don't know yet. You don't know. Patty's just a shitty RDR. Yeah. Yeah. And that's crazy too because RDR's at 185. Like if Patty was at if Patty was at Patty's skills wouldn't be able to take him top 10 in any division outside of maybe like 205 light heavyweight and heavyweight. He would have the skills, but outside of that, he just doesn't have the skills at any division. Payne's pretty good in improving, yeah. Willmaker, 31-year-old prospect. I mean, you can still be a 31-year-old prospect. You can be I think you lose prospect status at like 34. You know. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Um, Charles Johnson's way bigger, which is bad for loner style because he slides out of range like Adesanya, even though he's 5'2". Yeah. Mm. Moreno ends combinations head kicks. If loner tries to glide out of range, he's getting slept. Um, or he's getting kicked to the body, right? Or he's getting kicked to the body. You know, like you look at Moreno versus Kai Kara. Moreno ended his combination with that kind of body teep kick, right? It was like the point of his foot, but it was coming at like this slight angle right underneath the elbow, right to the liver, shut him down. Dude, that's such a cool name, though. Your name is Loner. Dude, that's such a cool name. Loner. When's Marique Costa fighting? That's a good fight. I want to see that guy fight. Free CM with Stallone Chanko. Dude, there's so many dudes who'd Stallone Chanko. What about Chris Duncan versus Chanko? I always go to Chris Duncan because he's like this underrated guy. What about um what about I think Grant Dawson would lose to Chanko. I think he's just outside the rankings. He would lose to Chanko. I think how about Diego Ferreira? What about an Alexander Hernandez? You know, guys just outside the rankings. What about a um ooh, the guy with the purple shorts? You know? Eye test, I don't think Payne's that good. On an eye test, you don't think Payne's that good? I think how though? How? He's got grappling, jiu-jitsu, striking. What does he not do? Good. Free CM's top 5 lightweight. He's not a brittle skinny boy anymore. Is he top 5 though? Is he top 5? I mean, what's like his best win to date? Matt Frivola, right? Jai Herbert, Claudio Puelles, eh. How do you not finish Claudio? Mike Davis, that's not a terrible win. Maybe Mike Davis, Matt Frivola, those are decent wins. Decent wins, right? Nazim Sadikov is Nazim Sadikov. I'm not particularly impressed by a Nazim Sadikov win. You know what I mean? I'm not particularly impressed by a Nazim Sadikov win cuz it's like this guy's goes into wars every fight, looks chinny in every fight, and Free CM just seemed to end it instead of Nazim Sadikov coming back and pulling through, you know? So it's like I'm not necessarily that impressed with Free CM quite yet. Quite yet. I don't think Sadikov's a great win though. You know? He had a draw with oh, Vyashev Borshev. And Vyashev Borshev is and it's not like Vyashev Borshev was like on the come up at that point. He's kind of just winning losing, you know? Slava Klaus. Yes, he is Garam Kutateledze at home. Sadikov's not chinny. He gets rocked in every fight, though. He gets rocked or he gets beat up in every fight. Vyashev Borshev was piecing him up, and then he got chinned beyond oblivion and somehow stayed in there. Slava Klaus lost it all in the striking department after the Savikov fight? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's kind of just been like Sadikov's a good win, not great. Yeah, it's a decent win. It's a decent win. Like that's a win where you're like, okay, I like that. I like that. You know, like I'm not 100% convinced on Farisiam quite yet. Quite yet. I liked his Matt Frivola win, right? But let's see if Farisiam on beat someone outside the rankings. Like, why is Farisiam ranked? You know, like what were the rankings at the time when he became ranked? Yeah, like a Ludovic Klein, um, a Grant Dawson, even like a Tom Nolan, even a Tom Nolan. You know, give him a Tom Nolan. Give him again Chris Duncan. You know, Ludovic Klein is top 5. Is he? Is he really? You think he's top 5? Maybe you could do like a Farisiam versus an Estevan Ribovic. An Estevan Ribovic would be good, right? Estevan Ribovic, that would be a good fight. Yeah, I don't think he's top 5. I think but that fight wasn't on short notice. It just got moved to the main event on short notice, but it wasn't a short notice fight, right? That was kind of just one they snuck on there as the co-main event of what? Macy Barber versus Aaron Blanchfield, right? Randomly got bumped up because she just couldn't make the. Well, it wasn't even like established as the main event. It's just the next fight just didn't happen. So they're like, well, technically that was the main event. I think a lot of guys outside the lightweight rankings are better than the guys inside the rankings. I agree. Gamrot's an amazing fighter. Is he amazing though? Is he really amazing? His striking is ineffective. His grappling's good, but he just doesn't have the style to beat anybody. He just can't hold anybody. Gamrot's good in scrambles, but he just gets out. He just gets mauled. Amazing as a stretch, he has no finishing potential. He can just win scrambles, and it's like maybe that works against. I think Grant Dawson would lose to um, Gamrot, right? Dag ignore me and is crazy, bro. What are you talking about? Ignoring you? I just don't see your messages. Chris Duncan would be good if it wasn't Scottish. You've seen enough Pachanko for Pereira. Frisium. I did miss so much. Oh my gosh, what? Tabit technically did beat double champ, yes. Frisium is top 5 lightweight, Chris. Okay, there we go. I missed out on a couple things. Alright, there we go. Gamrot high. Does he have good striking though? Does he? I think a lot of guys beat Gamrot. I think a lot of guys beat Gamrot. You know? I think Hinato Moicano versus Gamrot would be a intriguing fight. Manuel Torres beats him, but outside the rankings, Quillen Soukilled would beat him. Chris Duncan could beat him. Alexander Hernandez probably loses. Jalen Turner, they already fought. I think a well-prepared Jalen Turner beats Gamrot. Just saying. Nasrat Hakparast, interesting fight. Matruce Rezbecki versus Gamrot, interesting. Chase Hooper loses to Gamrot. Well, does he? Jared Gordon, okay. Rafa Garcia, interesting fight. Alves Brenner, he could beat Gamrot. Prime Dariush. Didn't he lose like right after that? Like Prime Dariush, and then proceeds to lose to like Charles Oliveira via TKO in his next fight after that. Gamrot beat Arman, who was ranked number 2. Yeah, but that's stylistically. Like that's a stylistic blessing. Gamrot who likes to grapple and you know a Gamrot that's just good at scrambles. Um Gamrot got dropped by Darius, yeah. Who can he beat by KO? Gamrot can't beat anybody by KO. I like even guys who are chinny. Like I think Jim Miller versus Gamrot would be like Gamrot just taking his back and holding that position for forever. I think Diego Ferreira, I think he's lost to Gamrot at some point. But I think you could probably give current day Gamrot a run for his money. Gamrot TKO'd Diego Ferreira? Really? Gamrot got dropped by RDA? I forgot about that fight completely. Gamrot had Armand wobbly and out cold on his feet? Sure. Gamrot KO'd Scott. Who? I think they should do Hamzat Islam. You want Islam to move up to 185 to fight Hamzat when there's like 4 contenders at 170 and bare contenders at 185, yet you want Islam Hamzat? That would be the worst fight to make. No offense, but that's a terrible fight. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Gamrot KO'd Fiziev. Okay, KO'd Fiziev. Literal doctor stoppage. Broke his what? Was it his? I think it was like his like. It was like his ankle, but like the front part of his ankle, where the foot connects to the right, or was it his shin? I thought it was like in between the foot and the shin. Pretty sure Fiera got injured in the Gamrot fight. Okay, I don't remember that fight, to be honest. I mean, it's a pretty hard fight to remember. Like those Apex nothing fights headlined by Derek Lewis. You're just like those Derek Lewis fight nights. Shit, dog, shit. Dude, XQC talked about MMA Guru. That's crazy. It's crazy. I need to see this. Guru's mainstream? I know, but XQC is like mainstream. I don't think is Guru mainstream though? I guess he kind of is, right? Damn. Dude, XQC knows him. That's crazy. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's crazy. People want Ilya Islam, yet there is Armand, but nobody says anything. Why is it a problem now? What? What do you mean? What does that even mean? People want Ilya versus Islam, yet there is Armand, but nobody says anything. Why is it a problem now? What? Liao, Chidi. Liao just walks forward, Chidi's knees up the middle. Dude, I like Chidi. I like Chidi. Um, I really wanted Chidi to be the Australian fella, the guy who lost to Neil Magny. You guys are gonna call me GP, but I'm not GP for not knowing. Chidi Njokuani versus the Australian guy. What was his name? Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews. Yeah, yeah, yeah. GP. Okay, bro. Okay. Jake Math. I don't know who. I forgot his name. It's called a brain fire. Just because I don't know Jake Matthews' name within an instant, I know his fights. Blood doesn't know Jake. I know Jake Matthews. I know. I literally said he. I remember that Neil Magny fight. You know, he beat him. He was beating him, but then he beat him, and then they said, "Nah, we're not done here." And then they continued, and he lost. He did sell, dude. But the thing is, I didn't expect Jake Matthews to grapple. I kind of thought it was going to be a striking fight. And I thought Cheaty's just like, dude, he's so solid with his Muay Thai, you know, he's with his elbows, you know. You know, he's long. I think I like Cheaty, but his wrestling is dog. But he's also not built. You should also move up. Remember what he did to RoboCop? Jeez, dude. Thought he was gonna at least drop Matthews. Yeah, I know. I know. Same. Same. I know a guy who is the literal definition of GP, and he knows MMA Guru. Really? MMA Guru's #1 ranked journalist in MMA. Really? Aiden had him on. How is Execution talking about him odd? It's not odd. It's just like. But Aiden is tapped in with UFC. He has streams with John Jones, Rampage Jackson, Sean Strickland, who are tapped in with Guru, right? Whereas XUC, he's not tapped into UFC like that. He's not tapped in with John Jones. He's not tapped in with Rampage. He's not tapped into anything, you know? He's not tapped in like that. So it's like, that's why I'm saying it's not particularly expected. XQC is, and it's not only the fact that XQC knows Guru, it's the fact that he was getting giddy over watching Guru. You know what I mean? He was getting giddy, like he was smiling and shit, you know? Chidi sold against Mikal. Chidi does sell. He's kind of known for, he's kind of is known for selling. But he's good, though. He's so good. He's so good, man. Chidi didn't sell. He got dodged by Mikal. Yeah. Dude, I want to watch Loner Kavanaugh. Sorry, keep getting distracted. I want to see Loner Kavanaugh. Really, how good is he? Can he beat Brandon Moreno? Can he really beat a Brandon Moreno? Maybe you have to watch some of his Cage Warrior fights. But he's fast, dude. He is fast. And I don't think he'll be able to out-grapple Moreno. And the thing is, can he outbox Moreno? I think Moreno is the best boxer at 125. But can Kavanaugh speed Mog Moreno? You know? Worst name in the world? Loner? How, man? It's not the worst name in the world. It's a cool name. Because he's alone. He's the lone wolf. Kavanaugh will at least make it competitive, maybe. But short notice, 5 rounds. 5 rounds short notice. I think the bet to make is Moreno. And I would say Moreno over 3.5. You think Kavanaugh? If you're doing Kavanaugh, you have to say Kavanaugh under 2.5. I think under 2.5 is like, you're going Kavanaugh. Because he's so fast. He's so fast twitch. He's in, he's out. He's all power shots. Right? Remember back in the days, everybody would call themselves popular loners and post on their no one I knew post that shit on IG stories. But yeah, man. I am a popular loner. I'm point blank period popular loner. That's like my definition. I'm like the Rizzler popular loner. Y'all ever want black eyes just to walk around and feel like a badass, bro? You could see Moreno over 2.5. I would say Moreno over 3.5. I don't think he gets him out of there in until at least halfway through the third. or a decision. I wonder what those odds are. Let me see if I can pull up those odds. Let me log in here. I do have a bet. I might bet again tonight. How much money do I got in my account? What? What the fuck? Come on, let me log in, bro. Log in. You have not logged in with an email previously. You will need to enter your username. Bro, what is this? I'm trying to see the odds, bro. What the fuck? What do you mean? Okay, well, I just can't look at the odds. Nice. Crazy. Rod Wave has a song named Popular Loner. I think it's about you. All right, let me listen. Popular Loner by Rod Wave. I don't know, like, I just don't know. I don't get the people. I don't fuck with nobody. I don't get around nobody. I just like being dolo. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't understand them. Or maybe it's they don't understand me. Weight of the world on your shoulders and you're feeling all alone. You got it, my brother. Just hold on. Thug life ain't dead. I'ma be this way until they kill me. Till then, I'ma make these brothers feel me. My brother, it's a wild lifestyle. A wild lifestyle. That is not me, bro. That is not me. I think Kavanaugh can make it competitive in like the first like couple of rounds, and then he's gonna lose. I think Moreno decision is going to hit. I think Moreno decision is gonna hit, especially considering on like a really bad loss. Dude, I think that loss Moreno took will greatly affect his mentality. I think it will greatly affect his mentality. Very accurately, especially the part where it says, "I let my brothers feel me." Dude, you know who has a song like that? Nav. He has like some weird song where he says something like, um, um, he's like, um, she's like, Nav says something like, "You say you wanna f all of my brothers, you read my mind," and it's like, wait a minute, wait, what do you mean you read my mind? You said you wanna f all of my brothers, you read my mind. I am in top chat. Oh my gosh, dude. I am. Oh my gosh, dude. I am in top chat, bro. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. People in school must have called him boner and bullied him for being Asian, like Magnus. Magnus isn't Asian. He's Indian and Chinese. Um, he has to be intentionally in GP. I know. That was such a G. That was a YouTube GP move right there. That was a YouTube GP move right there. That was bad, bro. That was bad. I definitely messed that up. Terrible. Terrible. No wonder I was missing so many. How come your stuff never pops up in top chat? Maybe you're just not that guy. Maybe it's only meant for the top dudes. It's only meant for the top G's. He's Nepal, Indian and Chinese. Yeah, I know, that's what I said. He's from Nepal, which is you might as well not even call him Nepalese. You just got to call them Indian Chinese. Total GPs, I know. Top GPs? Yeah. No, no such thing as a top GP. No such thing. Your GP, you're low. You're low as a GP. My bad, bro. My bad. Jeez, what an idiot I am. What an absolute fucking retard I am, lad. You know why? But I do have to dip, guys. I do have to dip. I got work. That's why I did it at this time, cuz I got work in like 15 minutes or so. So I got to get changed. Got to head over. But I'm looking good, so we'll see if we can pull some implies. We will do same time tomorrow. Same time tomorrow. Mark your calendars. Same time tomorrow, guys. Same time tomorrow. Mark your good old cows. Get changed in Best Buy attire. Not Best Buy attire. Blood. Think I'm part of the Geek Squad? You think I'm a Geek Squad guy? Come on, bro. I ain't no Geek Squad, brother. I ain't no Geek Squad, man. Come on now, respect me. Put respect on my name, man. Respect on my name. All right, I gotta dip. Peace.